Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Novak. I was tagged in the time and place tag by Pat at Chat Books with Pat. I think he's sitting on my notes right now. This is a tag that was invented by Carl at Please Read That Book, the time and place tag. I will have to move him in order to figure out what the prompts were. I will link both of their channels in the description box below. It's a relatively straightforward tag consisting of 5 prompts. The first is a book that reminds you of your past. Now, Pat pulled out a William Butler Yeats anthology. No, come on, dude. Okay, well, you can't see it, but he's right there. I'll just try to wing it. A William Butler Yeats anthology. I decided to go with an old poetry book along those lines, E.E. Cummings. This from my teenage years. Let's adjust this a little bit now. He's leaning on it. From my teenage years. There were other books of poetry that I was reading at the time, but Cummings is a poet that I moved on from, more or less. Another, come on, dude. Another poet from the time, Emily Dickinson, for example, I never moved away from, so to speak. So I don't have as much a time fixation with that book. But I thought I would show you my couple of chief modern poets of Britain and America anthologies. I did a video about these somewhere or other. I bought these at Cave Books in Taipei, and they really were my first in-depth introduction to several poets, such as William Butler Yeats. So they were very important to me, and I always remember my time in the apartment in Taipei looking at those. Now, if we're really talking about Taipei, this book, Notes of a Crocodile, really took me back to my years there. I think I was there just slightly before Qiu Miaojin was there for these experiences detailed here. This book is a gay and lesbian classic, and it is set just after the lifting of martial law, I believe, or almost before the lifting of it. I was there during full-fledged martial law. The next prompt is to talk about a book that is about a place that you would like to visit but have not gone to. And I thought I would pull out this, People of the City, by Cyprian Akwenzi, I believe, from Nigeria. I'd like to go to Nigeria, largely because of reading so much about Nigeria in fiction. Earlier last year, I think I read God's Children Are Little Broken Things, and this has been on my docket for a couple of years now, at least. One of my favorite booktubers talked about it, and that person is no longer a booktuber or no longer producing videos for more than a year, and so I've sort of felt, well, I'm not obligated anymore, but I still would like to read it. The next one is a book about a place that you admire. Japan is that place. I went there when I was pretty young, and I was something of a Japan skeptic. I probably was a little bit intimidated. Over the years, I've realized that there is an awful lot of aspects to the culture in Japan that I admire and even love dearly. Now, they're going through hard times now. a lot of these temples are closing, and goodness knows what the future will bring. But I have been to Japan numerous times throughout my life and really loved it there. Okay, I think the next one was a book set in your city, county, township, district, something like that. And I chose Native Son by Richard Wright. Oh dear, this is not the best situation. I just jerry-rigged a copy. That's my writing down there because I cannot find my own copy. I have little mass markets of Native Son and Black Boy. I don't think I would have gotten rid of it, but it's a book I probably don't need to have, as it's one of those books. I read it when I was in school, and it's so thoroughly become a part of my literary heritage that if I never read it again, I won't miss out on much. In fact, I did a dramatic version of it. I did a play of it. I was doing adaptations of novels, and it's something that I keep thinking statute of limitations, but what I mean is when the book goes into public domain, which it has not as yet, then possibly somebody will be able to see a production of my play version of the book. It would be fun to see. And, let's see. Something be realistic, will be realistic. A book about the future that you think might be realistic. I'm not sure at this point. I don't read a lot of books about the future. This is probably my favorite book about the future, We by Zamyatin. I read this not that long ago and liked it. Liked the start of it. It dragged on a little bit too long for me and became more conventional than its beginning would have led you to believe. And then 1984. No, that's not 1984. This book I have not read, Brave New World, but would like to. But as I say, I really don't read books about the future. So for that, I'm going to flip into a nonfiction book, Jaron Lanier. I read this, it's at least a decade old now, and it impressed me. One of the things he suggested was that the future will bring not, say when you have driverless cars, as we call them, or auto-driven cars, that you will not see so much collisions between cars as the future world is going to bring about collisions between highways. And I thought that sounds pretty reasonable. We'll see. I don't expect to have much of a future for myself. So I can see names of channels that I wish to tag. His leg is not quite covering that up, so let me do that. I'm going to tag Rick's, etc. Books I'm not reading. Noteworthy fiction, that's Nicole. Aaron Facer, Time Travel Reads, and Dolapo Adedokun. So those are channels that I follow that I find enjoyable and heartily recommend to you. So thank you, Pat, for tagging me, and thank you, Carl, for inventing the tag. Carl lives in Shanghai, which I have been to but don't know very well. I would very much like to go back there one day. And Carl has spent a lot of time in Vietnam, which I have been to. And that was his choice for countries that he admires. If I had spent 8 years, I'm sure that I would admire it as much as he does. I found much to admire there as well, but I know Japan probably better than that. So thank you very much for stopping by my channel. Apologies for this mess of a tag. Even though the cat is not visible, he is right here.